Namaskar and welcome. Joining us today is Dr. Naveen Mehrotra, who is a renowned pediatrician, public health champion, and founder of SKN Foundation. With over 25 years in practice, he leads My Whole Child Pediatrics and serves as medical director at St. Peter's University Hospital. Through SKN, he has been, driving force behind community. He's focused on programs like Scope for children with special needs, diabetes, and heart health awareness among South Asians. And today, he's here to spotlight Blossom and Bloom, a vibrant trunk show for Scope Kids happening April 27th. And teaming up with Sonalika Ahuja of Beyond Media, this event fuses fashion and philanthropy, featuring stunning collections by Priyana, Joy Mitra, and Five Elements. And I would say it's more than a style, it's about support. So let's welcome Dr. Mehrotra to ITV Gold. Welcome, Dr. Mehrotra.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and get the support of the leading media company out there. So I think it's really nice to be here.
Absolutely, and pleasure is all ours. You are coming here, and it's an honor to have you here. So let's start with SKN Foundation. Tell me what inspired you to start SKN Foundation and talk about its mission.
Sure. So SKN Foundation, or the full name is Sri Krishna Nidhi Foundation, came from inspirations of some family members that we had to, deal with an early demise. So that sort of became the inspiration for SKN Foundation. We've been here now for almost over a decade, and our main mission is to have a journey towards wellness for our community, right? This is our home. This is who we need to support. And especially when we're going through some turmoils in our life, that support, it just is invaluable.
Absolutely.
And I think we, as community members that are prominent here, have to go ahead and handhold our own community as they go through this journey and a path where they have to deal with certain, ailments, certain conditions, which we may not even think about.
So, but how do you guys, you're talking about wellness within the South Asian community. So how do you guys promote? How does SKN Foundation promote all this?
Right. So we always say, we are a highly affluent community. We don't have any needs, but every person has a need, right? So what happens is one of our main flagship programs, which is SCOPE, which is the one that we're highlighting at this event, stands for Special Needs Community Outreach Program for Empowerment. So when a family has a child with special needs, and by special needs, we mean disabilities of any sort. We're very familiar with autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, but any sort of a disorder that a child has, you are sort of lost in this world, and you're in a whirlwind and don't know how to actually take this forward, right? So what happens when you get diagnosed and the physician says to you, your child has autism? Where do you go from here? How do you access services? Where do you go ahead and get the support you need to navigate the school systems? What do you do as the child gets a little older and then you want to go out and go to a restaurant? How do you go ahead and communicate with other people about your child? And as you get older, what do you do with that child, right? As they're becoming an adult, are you going ahead and giving them some sort of a skill set to become as independent as they possibly can? So our task at the foundation with the SCOPE program is to help our community on these major milestones in their lives. So we have three segments to this. One is what's called the parent empowerment program. So anytime a family has a child that gets newly diagnosed,
Right.
so we'll handhold them for about a year, at least go ahead and be their sort of bouncing board, right? Go ahead and guide them. Okay, this is what you need to do, that is what you need to do. How do you go ahead and access the various services that are out there? How do you get comfortable with your child? So, and then as the child gets a little older, they have to go through the school system. There are so many services that are available through the school system that we don't even advocate for. So our task is to go ahead and teach you how do you interpret what's called an IEP, an individualized education program, that each child has, that is developed by the school system. So we'll go ahead and teach you what are the aspects of an IEP, how can you speak up, and unless you speak up, they say you won't get what you really need. And then as that child gets transitioned out of the school system and now becomes 18, there are a lot of rules, regulations, laws that don't even let you control your own child. And you know that this child is not going to be independent, but the state takes over the child. You have to go ahead and reclaim the child as your own. So there are a lot of things that a family has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And our job is to go ahead and see how we can support them in their journey. And that's where our tagline comes in, a journey towards wellness, as well as you can possibly be.
But do you have like a lot of kids who you help?
You'll be surprised. Just in the central New Jersey area, we have close to 400 families that are currently in our network. And late last year, we've launched a national helpline. So we are now reaching out to families across the country and telling them that we are there as a support network for them. And we're already getting calls from Texas, we're getting calls from California, we're getting calls from the Midwest, because people don't know what to do with their child.
So you help like children all over US?
All over the US. Our community needs our help. No matter how affluent we are, right? Everyone talks about our CEOs, Satya Nadella and all these other folks out there, but they themselves, if you know, Satya had a kid with special needs, right? So even if we are as successful as we can be, we still need the guidance, we need the support, and we need to know how to navigate the system.
Absolutely.
Right? So anybody who comes in from our country back home, they need to understand how do you navigate this entire, conundrum of things that's happening here with your child.
And I'm sure, there are so many people out there, even if they have lived here in this country for years and years, they still don't know things, what's going on.
Right. And I think if you just even take something that we do for granted, right? Let's go out for a pizza night, or let's go out to the local restaurant for tonight. A family with child with disabilities cannot just go ahead and do that.
Absolutely.
Right? You take a child out to the restaurant and the child is acting not quote unquote normally, everybody starts looking at you and you sort of get isolated. So our task is to create opportunities, to create events, create the environment where parents can go in with their families in what we call a judgment-free zone, so that they can enjoy,
be comfortable.
And they can be comfortable and enjoy.
All right, so let's talk about this event, Blossom and Bloom, which is, happening soon. So tell me, what's the idea behind like hosting a trunk show, and that too for a cause?
Right. So, thank you to Sonalika and who's one of our team members and president of the Beyond Media. We always try to go ahead and be as inclusive as possible. Right? So a lot of our families, right, it's not just about raising awareness in the overall community that this segment of the population exists. So, you come into the trunk show, you go ahead and purchase items, and some of those proceeds come to us. So that becomes a fundraising for us. Plus also letting these families know that they can come in and look at stuff that's out there that they may not have thought about to purchase for themselves. Or is it jewelry that they may not even have thought about? How many of these moms are dedicated 24/7 to their child? And for them to think about fashion is a very foreign concept a lot of times. But we want them to be as inclusive and be as normal as possible. We want our kids to sort of experience that as well. And we want our community to be aware of what's happening. right? So to mingle with families, to go ahead and understand that when you're purchasing an item, it's actually going to go back to our own to help support them.
And so, you're talking about the fundraiser, you're talking about supporting the kids. So how does this event support, of course, you're going to raise money. And how are you going to support families and children with disabilities under that SCOPE program?
So the funds, they always go back to our work that we do, right? So all of this work requires funding, be it through support staff that we have to hire and employ for the foundation, be it, when we are even arranging events for these families, we have to pay for the venue. We go ahead and if we take them out to a restaurant, we try to subsidize those costs. All of that money that is going in from the foundation to support them.
So do you have any fundraising goals that this is the amount we have to raise?
We can always be hopeful, and the more we can, the more we can do with our community. So I think that is where we want the support of as many members that are around to come in and enjoy the fashion that's there. The jewelry that's by Priyana.
There are designers.
Yeah, the designer Joy Mitra, who's been attached to us for many, many years. He has, and if people have known our foundation and our galas, we've had Juhi Chawla and a bunch of these other bigger Bollywood names that have been clothed in Joy Mitra fashion. So his fashion is there. And 5 Elements is bringing in their pieces, things that people can go ahead and purchase. And I was just notified as on my way in, there was a very unique coffee company that's going to be coming in and providing coffee, a very specialized coffee called Copacabana, that's going to go ahead and help us out as well. So I think it's a multi-layered thing that's happening here, right? So it's about fundraising, it's about awareness, it's about getting the community's buy-in, right? So when we do these events, if somebody's coming to support us, we know that our cause is valid, that our cause is real. And if there are these people that are coming in, bigger quote-unquote names that are coming in to help support us, they probably believe in our mission.
So tell me, who can attend? As you were talking, anybody and everybody, but is there a place where you can register, or are there tickets, or how does it work?
Basically, they have to just go ahead and show up. That's it. The hours are between 12 and 6. There is no tickets. It's like going to a bazaar, but it's more of an elegant bazaar. It's at the home of Sonalika, so it's in Wachang. So it is a pretty. We wanted to make it a classy event. We want to make sure it's an elegant affair. We want to go ahead and not just let it be a typical bazaar that people go to, because I think everyone, and our goal is to be inclusive. I think everyone who has a child with disabilities of any sort should feel as elegant as possible.
Wonderful. I have seen so many of non-profit organizations, and I have been wanting to ask you that, what makes SKN Foundation unique among non-profits?
I think there's several things that I can highlight. One is we are for the community here. This is our home. Okay, we have to build the resources for ourselves. It's great. I mean, I also support a lot of foundations back home in India. I write a check, but then, it's gone. But here I'm actually spending my time day in, day out to help our own that are living here. This is our home. Secondly, I think the people that get attracted in this group are very like-minded people. And I'm so honored and blessed to have the team that we have that is supporting our cause. And each person that gets attached really becomes a friend for life. And I think that makes it much more real. That's my family here, more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Right.
So since, you are talking about support, if somebody wants to support, whether it's attendees or whether it's, anybody in the community, what do they have to do?
They have to just reach out to us. And we will go ahead and see how we can find a spot for you, right? It can be for fundraising. It can be for doing community outreach. It can be for tabling. It can be for anything that. There's so many facets that we have to constantly work about, right? So we need the larger the team, the more we can do.
Right.
And our team continually grows. So
Absolutely.
it's,
Absolutely. So, any messages you have for our ITV Gold viewers?
the cause is real. Please make sure that we look out for our own. And when people say that we are a highly affluent community, we are a highly affluent community, but we also have needs. And if we don't stand by our own, who will?
I think that was very well put by you, and I would like to thank you for coming to ITV Gold Studio and taking your time out. I'm sure you have been busy doing stuff. Thank you so much, and wishing you all the best.
Thanks so much, and really thankful to Parikh Worldwide Media for giving us the opportunity and the stage to spread our message out there.
Thank you.